So yesterday, trade recap. I missed trades mostly. Some were good, some were not so good. In the morning, I was watching price, and nothing much really happened. So we had Asia session, and then London session started, and there was not much going on. Price was just moving a bit in tandem. ES and NQ did, so that's okay. Um, but I noticed this big fair value gap. It was big on the 15 minute, there was also 1 minute and a 4 hour I can show. So there were the gaps here. And price was just grinding down a bit. It was ranging here. And then we had this move down. And what happened is a SMT occurred between ES and NQ. So for me, that was interesting to watch because we're here in this bullish fair value gap, and overall price action has been bullish. So if you want to trade in favor of the draw, we have taken out this low and this low, at least for NQ, but at least we taken out this low. So if you want to see price coming up, then an SMT is a perfect sign of a potential reversal. Let's go to the 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and I will put on my drawings. I have my color scheme ready. So I took away Asian low because it was already taken here. So price was ranging up and down, and price was contained by this 15-minute fair value gap. Then a 1 hour fair value gap occurred thanks to this wick. Price was balanced because it went up to the EQ of that move. So price did what it had to do, so it could make another move down. Same occurred, of course, for ES. And this 15-minute fair value gap was holding price down. And what happened here is price made an SMT. Let's mark it out. Mark out het SMT. Just look at that, beautiful SMT. And now you want to see on the lower time frame, because we have a 5-minute fair value gap occurring here. It was also occurring here. So let's also draw that one. So what's the level that I would be looking at? That's just initially the retest of these highs here. So there's liquidity generated, so the logical next move is at least to take out this level and then to take out this level. So let's mark it. But of course, we still have London high and Asia high. And the same applies for ES as well. So potentially it could go higher, but, and this is one of the reasons why I got a little bit hesitant to take the trade, is that we were drawing closer to the US Open. Now in itself this is not a good reason because price actually moved relatively fast. So what happened here is the 5-minute held price. And what then happened is we got a lower time frame SMT. So we did not only get a higher time frame SMT, but also a lower time frame SMT to catch liquidity here, have this manipulative sweep, and then price did another fake out on the 5 minutes, and then it just burst through. So the point here, while I was a bit hesitant, is that seeing price action, it was relatively slow, price was ranging, so I'm not looking at the M1, M2, M3 because I want to see proper confirmation that a reversal might be happening. So let's just move to the M3. There is also not a singular fair value gap, and I'm not eager to take let's say aggressive longs. So this is actually the first point in time on the 4 minutes where we have a break of the IFVG. Now what we do have, and that also took a bit, and I think on the 5 minute it's the same, No, actually it doesn't matter. We can take the 4 minute or the 5 minute. We want to see a change in the state. And this was the last low, and this was the last, let's say, candle high before taking that move down. So, we have a change in the state. We have the M5. So let's take into account the 5 minutes, because actually I was looking at the 5 minutes. Let's not pretend. I was looking at the 4 minutes. Price was just doing its thing, and I was waiting. Okay, if I get a quick retest on this 5 minute fair value gap, then it's okay with me. But price actually did not do that. It was just grinding, and only here did it take the 5 minute fair value gap. And price was just still quite far off for ES, but also I could mark out this level, but this was not really the change in the state, because this was the low, so the change in the state would be more here than here. So I was flip-flopping a little bit, and in the end price took out the change in the state here. And partly I was doing different things here. I was also not paying attention too much, because normally when it's around like 8:45, I'm going to start focusing on US Open. But in itself this was a legitimate setup, because we just moved back and the draw was still higher, because we did not take out this level, we did not take out this level, and we had all the other levels still above. And this proved, because what I noticed, and this is also a note that I made for myself, is that the retest of the change in the state is normally, especially when the higher time frame setup is as good as this one, is good enough to take. Maybe not full risk, but at least, let's say on the set and forget mode, you can get a 1.9 out of this, which is, I think, ridiculously good for a setup like this. So a note to myself: when price takes so long to move back, then doing that inverse fair value gap up, that trade is off the table. Why? Because ideally you get a close somewhere here, and then what you do is you long. Let's say it closed here, I put my close below the gap and I trade up, and then it's possible to get, well, okay, this is just hypothetical, a 3R trade. You close it and then you're happy. But when price just grinds down, then the chances of getting wicks down, so let's be clear, the 5 minute held, right? But I prefer to have hard stops and not soft stops, because if I would have a hard stop here, I would get stopped out just before the move, which I prefer not to do. So then having this setup with a change in the state entry would be better, with a stop below the last low, or maybe even below this wicks low. ES gave the same setup, but I'm not trading ES, so that's okay. And price just said, okay, I like this, let's do it. And it took out that high. So then first target was obtained for 2.4R, and that was just really good. Now have to take into account it's 9 o'clock. And price just, I think, retraced back to the change in the state. I'm not sure. No, it actually didn't. So it went all the way up, and that's just taking out these highs, actually also going to the tapping the previous change in the state. That was just a really nice trade. So yeah, this was a good setup. It took time to set up. I mean, the first initial potential entry was 8:05, but in the end, 40 minutes later, was the ideal setup for a quick 2.4 trade. You could have taken off most at the 1.9 mark here, but there was a 2.4 in there because everything aligned. We had higher time frame gaps on the 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute. There was a high time frame SMT. There was a lower time frame SMT. Asia was already taken out. There was a sweep. There was a 5 minute clear gap. There was a clear change in the state. Perfect setup. Clear targets, generated liquidity. Didn't take it, unfortunately.